This is Kristin.
And I'm Steve. And you are listening to Cycling Together, a podcast about all things bikes, riding, and riding together. And we are coming to you in the flesh from...
In the flesh.
Santee National Wildlife Refuge. So if you're listening to on the podcast and you can't see us on YouTube, we are sitting out in the meadow parking lot here in the glorious sun.
I'm soaking up as much vitamin D as I can before we go back home.
And it is, it's beautiful out here, and we are headed north. So we are headed towards the feet of snow. I think it's snowing again in Massachusetts today.
Okay, well, let's live in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Here
live
we
in
are.
the moment. We are just embarking on the third week of our 3-week van trip. But let's be real, this third week is us, again, heading up north, and we're stopping at places for family. So the majority of our bike fun is done. What we wanted to do today is talk about the places we've gone and just kind of run them down. And I think this is going to be well, I don't know if a quick show, but this is going to be a
quicker show.
We're not going to do all the other voicemails or anything like that. This is our sole focus right now.
Yeah,
because we got places to go.
Talk about what it's like driving around and riding with the van, and where we rode and why we rode, and these certain places. Yeah.
All right, so let's
consult our notes here.
Dive right in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's amazing how memory starts to fade already.
I had to ask you where we rode yesterday. Seriously, and until you said it, and then of course the whole day vividly came into mind.
Well,
is this maybe a little bit of a problem when you ride too many places?
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Because we did jump around. This was a very active, and I had to slow you down. Like, if you had your way, we were gonna stop at a place and be there till noon, and then go to the next place. And I was like, the first week I was working, so I couldn't be driving. Like, I needed to be in one place from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely skipped down, and we wanted to escape the cold, and we moved very quickly.
We did. The first hour was a 13-hour drive day.
Yeah.
So we got out of the cold rather quickly.
Yeah, but we didn't really linger any place. The longest we were at a place was 2 days.
Yep.
There is something to talk about during this show about the value of staying put.
Yeah.
But that's not what we did, so let's start with what we did.
All right.
So the first place we got to pull the bikes out was where?
Blythe Island County Park. I think this was outside. Oh, it was right off of Interstate 95, and we were headed towards Jekyll Island. So
yes.
This was sort of let's get out of we've been driving so much over the past couple days. Let's get out of the van. We couldn't check in yet. Okay. So we were sort of a morning, let's get out in the mountain bikes, get our legs rolling before we can check in at the campground.
Okay.
Yep. So that was actually a on-the-fly decision. Was not planned.
And I like those.
Mm-hmm.
I like those, for the kind of surprise of them. I feel like there's a lot more of these little mountain bike parks just as we move south. I don't think we have as many.
Yeah, this was
formal mountain park where it's this is for mountain bikes.
Well, this was a county park, and they had a boat launch, and they had picnic areas, and then they had a actually designated mountain bike trail.
Right.
Which we had a great time on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did about 6 miles there.
Yep.
Then that brought us to Jekyll Island. We should say we brought
2 mountain bikes and 2 gravel bikes.
2 gravel bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that brought us to Jekyll Island. Yeah. And in this case, we used the gravel bikes to go on the beach.
Yeah, right. So we did a big loop on Jekyll Island, which included a section of the beach.
Jekyll Island had those, they called them the petrified beach.
The driftwood beach.
Driftwood beach.
Yeah.
Where they had all these amazingly cool trees that had been
basically died in place.
Yeah.
So it wasn't driftwood. It was more that these trees looked like driftwood because they were completely devoid of leaves and bark. They were they were just gray, but they were essentially still upright in place or knocked over, whatever. Really, really cool place. I highly recommend to go there.
Yeah. And this was one of the first places that we went. As you said, there was a stretch we went on the beach, and we were near the water, and it was just perfectly packed. And I don't think we've done a lot of that at home, like where you just have miles and miles of flat, packed beach sand that you could go. Did learn the lesson that one should start into the wind so that when you're riding back, it is behind you. Because at first you're like, wow, this is so great and so fast. And then we turned around and we're like, oh, that's why. That was a work day for me. So that you also took a little ride to do coffee.
I did, yeah.
So we did, 14 miles on the gravel bikes, and then you did an additional 7.5.
Yeah, basically to go get coffee.
Yeah. Yep. And Jekyll Island was very cool.
By the way, your coffee was cold by the time I got back.
It was so
because
cold.
Apparently, a little over 3 miles, 3.5 miles. Cruising back as fast as I could, cooled the coffee down.
And then I decided, I'll put it into our electric teapot. Mm-hmm. So we lost some of it to your bicycle. It was on your bike.
Not much, just
a little bit. Yeah. It was cold. Yeah. Then we put it into our electric teapot where it
boiled over. Where it boiled over instantly.
Yeah. So that was kind of it was the thought that counts.
Yeah. Okay.
On that one. Okay. And so how long we were on Jekyll Island?
Oh, and we were out there we had 2 nights there.
Okay.
Right? So.
And that was like our longest stay.
2 nights was the longest van stay anywhere.
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which is unlike last year where we did 3-4 night stays at each place.
Really?
Yeah.
It's all a memory. It's just all foggy memory. All right. Where did we go from there?
We went to this was a flip in the script here. So
right.
We can talk about that one thing. On the way down, we plan on staying at Norman Park State I think it's Norman State Park outside of where is that? That's in North Carolina.
Okay.
And that has a whole mountain bike network trail, but the weather was miserable that day. So we completely canceled that reservation, drove extra time so that we could just skip that.
Yep.
So then this one we went to Hannah Park. Now, I honestly can't remember where I had planned to go to. Oh, we were going to go to St. Augustine.
Yes.
So we were going to go to a campground in St. Augustine
and
walk around downtown, but there was no riding involved there.
Yeah.
And I decided...
Well, it was a combination of we realized we don't like to do that.
Yeah, right.
We don't really like to just walk around towns. In fact, Strava just said to me, here's an activity from 1 year ago when we were on a van trip, and I titled it, Walking is Not My Favorite.
Right.
So, and then also, it was in the middle of the week, and you had us driving.
Right.
And again, I was like, we can't be driving
while I'm working.
So you discovered Hannah Park and Manhattan Beach. And you were like, what we can do is we can drive to the beach, park up there.
Yeah, and it was only maybe an hour and a half, I think, from Jekyll Island. So we left early, got there early, you started your day.
Yep. So I worked in the van next to the beach.
Yep.
And then when we could, we moved the van into the campground, which was right next door. And our campsite was the mountain bike trail was right behind us. And that was a very cool campground because it was really lush and it felt like the Everglades.
Yeah, you were like, where are we in Hawaii?
Exactly.
I mean, it was that kind of tropical lushness.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those trails epitomize to me what I kept saying when somebody will be like, is it hard? Are the trails difficult in Florida? And I'm like, or down south. And what I'll say is what they lack in elevation, they make up for in turns. Very, very So especially the newer trails at Hannah Park were very tight, like
little bit too twisty.
There is twisty, and then there's where you're trying to maneuver your bike 90 degrees.
Well, you lose your speed, you lose all your flow.
Yes.
I actually really enjoyed those though, and because they did have, we're going to call it elevation. We're going to call it elevation only in that they were flowy in a way up and down over the terrain. It was not pan flat. It was definitely swoopy.
Yes.
It was swoopy.
Yes. It didn't have as much flow as I would like. We did run into a guy who was from the area. I will also say every rider we have run into has been super friendly, super helpful. Like, oh, where are you from? What are you looking to do? You should try the trails over there. You're like immediately talking to people, which is so weird. I'm so not used to it. But he had literally just moved from Colorado.
Yeah,
he was
from
from
Golden,
the
Colorado.
area. But he had moved back after living in Colorado. He had been a mountain bike coach, and he was like, I'm so homesick. And I was like, dude, you moved yesterday. He's like, but it's such an adjustment. Because, yeah, he's like, you never stop pedaling here, is what he said. And that's absolutely right. That's absolutely the case. I will also say Hannah Park, and we're going to get to Santos Trails, are good arguments for me for staying in a place more than 1 or 2 days, because from a mountain bike perspective, I'm not that, it takes me a while to get comfortable, and I'd like, to try trails over and over and over again. So like you can get on a trail and just go and just have a blast, do a really good time. I'm always kind of like, I'm a little tense, and I feel like, oh, maybe if we had stayed at Hannah Park for 5 days, or if we'd stayed at Santos Trails for 5 days, I might have gotten more comfortable. So that was one thing I started to think about.
Santos Trails definitely.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying I want to. We'll get into that I want to go back to that one, but I'm just saying, like, I realized I started to recognize that I maybe didn't have as much fun on the mountain bike rides because it takes me I got to warm up to them. I got to warm up my brain. I got to warm up my body. I like to practice. Anyway, so that was Hannah Park. And then the next day, we got up. We moved the van back to the beach.
Yeah, you got one ride in Hannah Park. I got 2.
Oh, that's right. You went and did another ride, which was fine because I had to do. I would try to. I was fortunate. I was able to jump out at lunchtime usually.
Yeah, so we had so after we checked out the next day, we just moved
back to the beach,
half mile down to the beach parking lot outside the campground.
Yes.
And then we did a lunchtime ride down the beach. So we did 11 miles totally on the beach.
Yes.
And out in the back. And this time we did headwind out, tailwind back.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, again, huge, wide, hard-packed beach.
They don't necessarily see people like us on the beach much.
We did go out in full kit. We went out in full kit, full gravel bike kit.
Gravel bike. Yep. 2 older guys were like, make sure you don't go too fast. I was like, I'm going into the wind, man. It'll be. But it was so. Oh, and then when you turn around and that tailwind is behind you, you feel like you're flying.
Yeah.
You feel like, yeah.
So that was an amazing ride.
Yep. Okay. Then we took a big break.
We had to see family.
Yeah.
So we had days with the family, lots of eating out.
Yes.
Right?
I will never complain about that.
Yeah. And then our cruise.
And then we took a cruise.
Yeah, then we took a 4-night, 5-day cruise.
No bikes. Barely any moving.
Yeah, I didn't even go to the gym. I was thinking I would go, I'll pop in the gym and hop on the bike or something.
Did you actually think you were going to pop into the gym? Yeah. I thought about the last time we went on a cruise, which was like
we did a spin class.
We did spin classes. We were like, because I was doing triathlon and we were like in peak shit. Yeah, no, it didn't even occur to me. I was like,
this was peak lounging. And it was fantastic.
We were power loafing.
Yeah.
If anything, we might move because like my butt got sore, so I just had to move to a different lounge chair. Right. That was the extent of things. So, but that got us ready for
Santos
Trails.
So Santos in Ocala, Florida.
Yes.
We're we're going to call it famous because it is.
I'm going to say this was the one you were probably looking forward to.
Yeah, I'd say between
most.
Santos and Alafaya, those are the two most popular, well-known riding destinations.
Okay.
In Florida, and it's definitely a destination for Northerners to come down and just spend lots of time to be able to ride.
Yep.
So this is a massive corridor of forest land through central Florida.
80 plus miles of single track, diverse bike trails for beginners as well as expert level trails that will challenge even the most elite riders. Yeah, there was a wide variety of. This wasn't one where you went on a difficult trail and you're like, this is difficult. Yeah, no, they were accurately marked, like the diamond.
Yeah, it was still Florida difficult, but that being said, the most difficult trails, definitely there was rock features. There was elevation, there was rock features, there was technical skills involved. So, I'm gonna give them credit for that.
They had amazing, and I'll say amazing, even though I don't really take advantage of it, free ride section.
Yeah, and that was definitely labeled correctly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but they had a pump track.
Massive
they
jumps.
Had massive jumps. They had wood ramps. It was like the number of chapters around us just dream of being able to build as much as they were able to build. There was just so much.
We came across just that one little wood feature skills area in the middle of almost nowhere on the trail, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it basically was this little tiny flow section where they had wood built features. You'd hit a couple tabletops, and then you'd swoop into a bank. And then you do a couple more tabletops, and then swoop around a bank, and that was really cool. And so I would have loved to spend just some time there, doing that over and over.
So this is where I really started to think about it because
coming back to it the next day.
we had friends that were down there and came to meet with us, and they had actually been there
a month,
and that's why I was like, wow, a month. Not that I would have spent a month there anywhere, but I did like the idea, like, oh yeah, you could really try different sections, go back. Kind of process them and some
areas and some trails were so far that in many cases you would just drive to a different trailhead. Yeah. You drive almost 15, 20 miles so that you could ride another 15, 20 miles further west. Yeah. It's such a big area.
It was also, what struck me about Santos Trails is it was clearly a very vibrant bicycle community. So you have the Ocala Mountain Bike Association. They had signage everywhere about joining. But, I mean, the minute we got there, I walked into the parking lot looking for a bathroom, and someone immediately greeted me. He had just pulled up. He was a board member with the Ocala Mountain Bike Association. So he immediately was giving us directions. I ended up sitting next to a woman at the picnic table who had volunteered at last year's Fat Tire Festival, which...
I think it's next week.
Yeah, it's next week, which I have learned just means mountain bike festival.
Yeah, because we would consider that fat bikes in home.
Yeah,
if you said
fat tire, I would consider that fat bikes, but they just mean, I've been informed, they just mean mountain bikes. But there were road riders because there was a big...
Well, there's a really wide paved path. I don't know how long it is, but it's...
There were road riders.
20, 30, 40 miles long.
There were people on, e-bikes. There were people on hybrids.
Yep.
I do need to vent about one thing. There were signs everywhere.
Oh, you're going to vent about the couple.
Telling people to put on a helmet. Yes, I'm going to vent about the beach. Now, I will say later, I saw a sign that said... Like Massachusetts, if you're under the age of 16 or 17, you have to wear a helmet. Okay, so I think this couple was technically in the right, and yet I'm still going to say completely wrong. So it was a couple with their young child. Their young child was on a tiny little bike.
Yeah, maybe 18 months old?
Yeah, with a helmet.
Yes.
He was killing
on one
it
of those
Strider.
One of those seats that sits on the top tube in front of the rider, not behind the seat.
Yeah, but he also had a bike that they were playing on the before you saw them on that. He also had a little bike that he was using.
Kid? Oh, so the kid wasn't 18 months old.
No, he was probably 3 or 4.
Oh,
yeah, he was bigger.
Thinking about the wrong kid.
So he was on a little Strider bike. He was going over the pump tracks. They also had him in a thing later when we saw him on the trail. The point is, he's wearing a helmet, and they are not. And all the signs around the park, except for the one I saw, just said helmets required. They said it everywhere. I probably saw 8 just in there's one in the pump track, there's one at the entrance, there's one in the parking area. And here are these 2 ding-dongs riding around without helmets. And, I mean, 2 things bother me about this. Number one is, do you think the rules don't apply to you? Like, do you think these signs are talking to somebody else? But also, when grown-ups, when parents do not wear helmets, but they put them on their children, what they're telling their children is helmets are something to grow out of.
Right. So this is what yes.
That is my biggest.
This has always been a very big pet peeve of yours.
What we're telling kids is helmets are only things that kids use, and that we grown-ups do not need helmets. And I know there are people who are going to say, well, I'm not doing anything risky on a bike. But we know that stupid accidents happen at slow speed. I feel like most of them are at slow, stupid accidents can happen at slow speed, causing massive
we do,
head
yes.
trauma.
And everybody should have a helmet. It does not bother me, the adults on hybrids going slowly down the paved rec path without a helmet. That doesn't bother me.
No, it really doesn't. I think it's the kid grown-up combination.
But the
that
mountain bike
bothers
trails.
me.
Then they were in the mountain bike trails.
They were on mountain bike trails.
Yep.
They weren't on just the paved
Nope.
path. They weren't they were on the mountain bike. They were on the pump track.
Yeah, they were on the pump track.
They were on the pump track without helmets. Yep. Girl. Sorry. Not sorry. Anyway. That said, also, the signage Santos Trails was amazing. A lot of signs encouraging volunteership, and they actually had upcoming trail days, and the dates were already up there.
Yeah, so we did 11 miles the first day at Santos, and then the second day you did 12. I went out and did another 15 on some of the expert trails again.
Yes.
You got a headache, and then
I got a headache, and I just what I've been thinking about a lot again is I don't want to say I have a favorite bike, but I may have decided that my gravel bike's my favorite bike, because my mountain bike, which I really like, I like riding my mountain bike. I always have to think. I'm always a little tense, especially when it's new. On my gravel bike, new place, I don't care. I will get on that bike and I will ride anywhere. Today was glorious. And I know that's because there's just not as much skill involved. But
yeah, my favorite bike ebbs and flows, just year to year.
Yeah. I mean, I do often say the bike I'm riding is my favorite bike. But what's nice about the gravel bike is I'm almost always happy on it. And mountain bike, I can have my good days and I have my bad days. I rarely have a bad day on my gravel bike.
That's true.
Unless I have put it somewhere it should not be.
Right.
So, yes. So we rode 2 days there.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we moved on. Oh, we did.
And then we moved on.
Yeah, with a intermission of a clear kayak at Silver Springs Park.
Yes.
So we kayaked around.
Fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to see alligators.
We did see a lot of alligators, and we saw ibises, and
the birds were great. The birds and the turtles were fantastic.
Swam
and
under,
manatees.
and then its little head would pop up, which was and manatees. Okay, and that was a pit stop.
That was a pit stop
to
Payne Prairie State Park. So we came into this state park, and this is known for being a wide, hence the name, a wide open prairie where there are bison. We didn't see any in this trip.
Did not see bison.
And but the campground itself was again another more lush, palmed type of campground. Really nice, actually. If you're into the state park campgrounds, this is one I'd recommend.
The animals.
And the showers were the best we've encountered.
That's right. Yeah. Well, let's talk about what makes for a good shower. I was thinking about what makes good for a good shower. Lots of water pressure.
Okay, you got pressure.
Yes.
You got temperature.
Yes.
You got the height of the sprayer head.
Yes.
Then you have the quality of the spray coming out.
Yes.
And then you also have you have your general cleanliness or lack of skeeviness of the shower stall itself.
Doesn't have to be new.
Yep.
Just needs to be clean.
And then you have your size of the whole stall itself. Like, is there a changing area? Is there a place to put your clothes to stay dry, or your towels?
Yeah, and hooks.
Your stuff and your hooks. Yep.
And that one checked all the
boxes.
It was not new, but it was clean.
Mm-hmm.
Water was good.
Yeah, when I had gone in for my first shower, the place like smelled like Lysol because they
That's
just mopped and cleaned it.
I'll take it
Yep.
any day. And when we arrived there, it was raining, so we didn't really see it when we first got in.
That was the first rain of the trip.
I know, they desperately needed it.
And they needed it so bad.
But then the next morning, we were like, oh, I don't know. It's kind of wet. I don't know if we want to ride our bikes and make them dirty.
Then she slapped me across the face, and we were like, yes, okay, what are we doing?
I was like,
get on the bikes.
You've done Rasputitsa.
Yeah.
This is hardly the worst thing our bikes have seen.
Yeah, and we had a fantastic ride, and it was really nice out.
It turned out to be really nice.
Yep.
And what's nice, I will say, about gravel down here is it's flat. It's just flat.
Yeah, it's flat.
Flat. I mean, around us, it's so much
yeah,
of
and
our
it was
gravel
sandy
is like,
enough and
Cat
leafy enough.
4 climb.
Right.
Yep, and it was sandy. It was a little sandy, which is tough to get the.
Yeah, but the rain helped that because the sand
Yes.
was not as loose and yeah. So we were able to ride through the sand much easier then.
Okay. So that was 9 miles there, not 10 because we skipped a little loopy
We
thing.
just skip a loop.
And then last night we arrived here
Yes.
and we'll call this Achievement Unlocked.
Yes.
Where we boondocked.
I've been
in
trying to get her to do this for a while.
Parking lot where it's not totally clear that it's okay for
There
us to
are
park
zero
here.
no overnight parking signs.
There is that. There's no overnight parking signs.
And it's National Wildlife Refuge. So this is sort of like BLM land and National Forest land where you actually can just pull over and park.
What is BLM?
Bureau of Land Management.
Oh,
we don't
Bureau
really
of
have
Land
that on the
Management.
East Coast. There's
Okay,
very few
thank you.
places. But on the West Coast, you can basically just go out into any BLM land and
Yep.
and boondock.
And I will say, so this is, what is this? It's the...
Santee National Wildlife Refuge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so we woke up here this morning and it was all...
completely misty.
Yeah,
Chilly. It
and
was about
beautiful.
mid-50s, chilly,
Yep.
completely just fogged in.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we still rallied.
Yep.
We went out for an amazing ride. I'm going to say if this is our last ride of the... if this ends up being our last ride,
Worth it.
10 out of 10.
Yep. So this was flat, and it was a mixture of improved gravel roads
Yep.
and sort of back ranger access only grassy roads,
Mhm.
we're going to call them.
Which just opened.
Yes,
Today.
Today was
Today.
opening day. Yes. Yep, they're closed to public access during the winter, and
Yep.
they open March 1st, so we got it on opening day.
One thing I did start to think about, I mean, it was beautiful, right? I think we saw 1,000 ducks.
Oh, more
we saw
thousands.
Thousands. We saw just a fleet of
Yeah.
ducks planning their takeover. But I started to think about our Audubon Society. About the Audubon Society. There's a location in the town near where we live that for member only access to see the birds and whatever. And I thought, I don't like the gatekeeping on that. Like, I understand why they're gatekeeping for members only, but there's something really special about just coming to a space like this, no cost to entry, that I
Right.
think is so important, right? It's important for understanding the importance of our wetlands. Apparently, we are losing, let me read it, 2% of the remaining wetlands in the United States every year, which is an astonishing 290,000 acres to
The
agriculture,
crazy
development,
thing
mining,
is,
and other purposes.
is that like in Massachusetts, we have the DEP. I mean, you have your national, federal regulations, and then you have your state regulations.
Yep.
And you cannot destroy, you cannot get rid of any wetlands in Massachusetts. You have to make up for what you might do. So let's say a developer has a piece of land that he wants to put 5 houses on.
Right.
But in order to build the road that goes into that and makes like a little cul-de-sac, he has to cross over wetlands.
Yes.
They have to now recreate by digging down and recreate those wetlands. And actually, I think it's up. I think it was 125%. So it's more than 1 to 1.
More than what you, okay.
Yeah. So that in Massachusetts, it's basically impossible
I-
to lose wetlands.
Yep.
But I have seen other places, like I've seen on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, like a person showing, oh, look at this sort of wet field out here, and then they'll show the progression over the last 10 years, and now there's like a Walmart on it.
Wow.
And I think there's states like Texas who they don't care.
Right.
They just don't care.
So I remember when you you were a geologist, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were doing,
Yeah.
environmental work, and you joined.
And I was on the Conservation Commission for 10 years.
For our town. And I remember do you remember the first time you went out with the Concom crew? You were going to look at one property.
The swing set? Yeah.
You called me and you were like, we went to look at one property, but the property next door, they had knocked through the hay bales, which was to protect the wetland.
Well,
they had
protected wetland during the construction.
Right.
Yeah.
They had pushed wood chips in there, and they had put a swing set on it.
Yeah.
And the head of the our conservation agent, like basically walked up to the house at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and was like, "You need to move that."
Yeah.
Like, that is not. And you were like, I did not sign up for that. I did not sign up for like rustling people out of their bed to move swing sets. But yeah, it's important. It's important we protect them. You're right. I guess I take that for granted. All right. So here's some questions for you. This is our last day. Do you have a favorite ride of all the rides we did in the past in this trip? What was your favorite or your favorite day?
Oof. My favorite day was probably Hannah Park because I got to do a big mountain bike ride in the morning and then we did a beach ride at lunch.
That's right. It was a good day.
That was a good day. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will say my top 2 rides, maybe not days, but rides, are this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would put this as a top ride.
This was fabulous.
Yeah.
Just the animals. Didn't get to see any alligators because I think we were up before all the animals.
We were. The sun wasn't
so
high
cold
enough
to
yet
probably
for them.
out
There were
there.
warning signs about large alligators. We were.
I know. I love that. Not just alligators. Large alligators.
That's right.
And by the way, I'm going to be sharing on the STVG Van Antics, like just the various signs for the wildlife we were supposed to look out for, which is like bears, alligators.
Oh, Tim at Santos Trails said a guy ran into a panther.
Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's that. I'm going to run into those. So this one. And I'm going to say my other favorite ride was the second of the beach rides, which was the longer beach ride that we went. And it was just a dedicated out and back 14 miles.
No, it was like 11.
Anyway, that was my other favorite.
Yep.
So, which also speaks to, I think, the gravel bike being my kind of always a good ride.
Always a good ride.
Always a good ride on my gravel bike. Okay. Where would you go back? So for your next trip, you're planning your next trip, and say we're coming down this route again. Where would you go back to, and what would you skip?
Ooh, interesting. Well, it gets a little complicated because there are so many places to ride that in many regards, I just want to go to new places.
Yes,
so
I know. That's your
now
fair.
maybe I would go back to Santos because we barely touched scratched the surface there. So I would say. Yeah, well, no, actually, we did a lot of the trails there.
Did we?
Yeah, but I think to be honest, another 3 days of riding there, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm done with this place.
Okay.
So, and this, like, as beautiful as this is, there's plenty of beautiful places like this, so it's not like I would come back here necessarily, right? Hannah Park, if we, for some reason, are coming down in the area, I would stop there again. I would go to that campground again. I would easily want to ride that mountain bikes again, and I would want to do that beach ride again.
Yes.
So if for some
really
reason we
nice
found ourselves coming
part.
down the east coast of Florida up near Jacksonville, I would definitely stop there again.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Yep.
I thought Hannah Park was great. I could definitely see spending a couple of days at Santos Trails just to get more comfortable there for me. I wouldn't stay in the campground we stayed on. I think there's a nicer campground. The one we stayed in was fine.
Right.
But it was just very small. And the bathroom was okay.
At Hannah?
Santos.
Oh, Santos. Oh, right.
It was
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's more of a kind of bike mechanic question.
Mm-hmm.
What tools did you bring? So you have a little workshop area back there
Yep.
in your garage. What tools did you bring, and did you forget anything? Is there something you wish you had you didn't?
Nothing. We didn't have any situations where I said, "Uh-oh, I don't have that spare or that tool." Right.
Okay.
So I definitely come. You always want to be over prepared.
Okay.
And so let's think about some of the things. I mean, I have all your normal tools, right? And I guess in the bike world, a normal tool would be I have Allen keys or hex keys every which way possible.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I have the fold-out tools.
Hexes.
I have the separate individual ones.
Yep.
I have mini ratchets. I have all of those. I guess some of the more unique tool, and then I have a bunch of general tools like adjustable wrenches.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any sockets with me. And of course your screwdrivers and everything. I carry my little sort of small-ish park tool hammer, which is a steel on one side and a plastic mallet on the other. They make two sizes. One is a sort of hammer, traditional hammer size. The other one is sort of is smaller than that and lighter. Yep. Now you need a hammer to get bottom brackets and so forth out. That is not something I would normally expect to ever be doing on a trip, but it could be possible. And then it's useful for hammering stakes into tents and so forth if we ever needed to set up a canopy. Yeah, it's a multitasker. Okay. One sort of unique setup I have sort of built into the tools of the van, I do have the ability to bleed brakes. So I do carry a small bottle of brake fluid and a couple olives and barbs, and this sort of all-in-one tool.
What is an olive and barb?
That's what goes on the end of a hydraulic hose that then gets crushed and expands to create the seal. So then I've got this little Shimano tool, and some companies make it. It basically cuts the hose and it presses the barb into the hose. And so one thing that's I have that for the mountain bikes. Now that I'm looking at our gravel bikes back here, I purposely made it so the calipers on both of our bikes are the same. So
both our mountain
bikes.
Okay.
So we use the same brake fluid and we use the same brake pads. So I do have spare brake pads for both the mountain bikes and the gravel bikes. The gravel bikes also use the same brake pads, and they use the same fluid, which is actually dot fluid. And I should carry some of that. The thing is, on the gravel bikes, you tend to have less of a potential problem with your hydraulic systems, only because mountain bikes things can get snagged and ripped and so forth. Really rare and uncommon, but I'm prepared for it. I do carry an extra mountain bike tire in case we go somewhere and you slash a tire.
Okay.
Just so that we're ready to go. That is actually more useful for bike parks and so forth. But we wasn't sure we were going there. I guess some of that rock and that coral in Santos could be sharp.
That was sharp.
We could slice a tire there.
Like it kind of Santos kind of reminded me of home.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were a lot of roots and there were a lot of rocks, but their rocks definitely looked sharper than our rocks did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so I mean that's the main.
You also
gist of it.
You also have a pump. Itty bitty. Why don't we carry a full-size pump?
Because a full-size pump is actually quite large, and yes, we have this large van, but you don't. So I have this Lesign sort of travel pump, high volume one with a digital gauge on it.
Okay.
Right, and it snaps into a mount on the rear door. It's nice and tidy. Usually, you're topping off tires. You're I need 2 psi. Right. It's really not a big deal to do that with this pump. Well, yeah. So I was inflating one of your tires, and then the core came out and loosened on me, so I had to go up from 0, and that
Well, and you
That
also
takes a lot
had,
more pumps, but it wasn't that big.
You had a road rider come up.
Yes.
Also, and he
Ooh,
had
do you have
an
a pump?
older bike,
Yes.
and so he had pretty skinny tires, and he needed to get up to like 90 psi.
Yeah. He was
and
old
you
school.
were struggling because you're like,
on-
this is not really designed to get up to that.
No, it's a high.
kind of
I have a high
pressure.
volume one, not a high pressure one.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it works, and you've said.
And of course, I carry multiple CO2s.
Yep.
Now
true.
we could get one of the mini inflator pumps, and we probably will get one of those for the van.
And we don't bring a stand. Have you thought about?
We don't,
bringing a stand?
and I looked. We actually have one of the Feedback Sports ultralight stands.
Okay.
And I have not found where I want to mount that yet.
Okay.
So I didn't bring it.
Did you miss it?
No. I mean, it would be nice for bike washing, but leaning against a tree works just as well.
Yeah.
For bike washing.
Cool. Is there any other tool that you wish you had, or you're thinking about bringing for future?
Nope. I mean, there will be a series of van videos coming, and all of the tools will be shown. So. Yeah.
I know we talk about you doing. You're like, I'm going to make all this content, and you haven't.
I have not.
You haven't, but what I was saying is like your job during the first week when I'm working is literally to just take care of the van and take care of me and make sure we're where we need to be, that everything's working. And then you're like, I don't think there was a point where I looked and I was like, I wonder what Steve's doing. Like, you were always busy. You might have been riding.
Sometimes I might have been riding, but
yeah,
you're right.
But it wasn't like you were just sitting around while I was working.
Correct.
Or you were making us lunch, or you were planning the next stop. Because even though you had a pretty extensive, like an amazing
day by day
schedule, there was still always checking, make sure that place was still open, making sure the weather was the way So it's pretty. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of when you move as much as we moved too. We moved a lot. Like, again, if we just went somewhere and stayed there for 2 weeks and then came home, that would
be a lot less work.
Lot less,
and then
work.
A lot more sort of that extra downtime.
Yeah, then you could do the videos and stuff like that. So no, I think the van has done amazingly well this time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has worked. The coffee maker gave up the ghost, but that's only because she needs a little love.
The coffee maker needs descaling badly.
But we had a fridge this time, so that was exciting.
So last, just for a quick recap, last van trip at this time last year, we left in 19-degree weather, put all our food in there, turned the fridge on, left. 2 days later, we're like, seems a little warm, but maybe that's just, and then the third day, we're like, oh yeah, this is not working. Yeah. And it wasn't. It was broken.
Yeah, I think the only change we talked about for like upgrade for the van at this point is the passenger seat in the front. We can upgrade it so that it'll spin.
We had not added swivel seats to the front. We do not need it for the driver's seat, but the passenger seat definitely, and the swivel base is waiting for us when we get home.
Yeah, I feel like
I ordered it right on the spot because I found a great deal on one.
Spent more time in the van realizing how that would be really helpful. But no, there was very little. I know canopy too for the outside, figuring out what to do with that. But I think the van did great.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been amazing.
This has been a great trip. Yeah,
pretty good. All right, well, let's wrap this up.
Okay,
we gotta
go. We have had a 4-hour drive now today.
Exactly. Cycling Together with Kristin and Steve is a production of Steve the Bike Guy, an independent bicycle shop in Eastern Massachusetts, and Sundin Marketing.
If you like the show, please leave a review or share with a friend. For show notes, links, or to leave a comment, question, or topic suggestion, visit cyclingtogether.bike.
You can follow the shop on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Steve the Bike Guy.
Excellent. All right. See you next time.
Bye. Lizards!
Yeah, see little lizards. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Kristin everybody, the audience just got squirreled by
lizards!
by Kristin seeing a lizard.
Hey, I didn't get to see an alligator today as planned. Anyway, so that was I've lost track. Okay.